Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I figured I'd give a quick discussion on the latest film, The Flash, that comes out June 16th. Fortunately, I had the privilege of catching the film a couple weeks ago for it was like a premiere in Jersey, premiere screening in IMAX. I was stoked, so excited. I couldn't wait. For the main purpose, which I believe many people have the same, well, similar feelings, is because Michael Keaton is back as Batman. Who wouldn't want to see that again, right? Anyway, I went in with these high expectations, but I also had, I don't know, there were some of those low feelings thinking because of the director. I'll butcher his name, Andy. He did the It films, It Chapter 2 and Mama. He seems to be a very CGI heavy type of director, relies heavily on the CGI. And that alone, from the get-go, made me feel like, oh man, this guy is going to be doing The Flash. Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman. But nonetheless, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go in and I'm going to try to hope for the best. Well, anyway, without giving any spoilers, of course, I was, I'd say the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. And then it went right into that whole full-blown CGI territory. And it's like you're watching, see, it works sometimes with some of these films, like the Marvel films. Of course, they heavily rely on it, but at least they have a story that's grounded to a certain extent. The characters are grounded, and they built a universe where the audience is already invested and sucked in. So all that CGI, you kind of like can shrug it off a little bit here and there. Lately, it hasn't been too good with Marvel, but like earlier days, like Avengers Endgame was phenomenal. But DC trying to like replicate what Marvel has done, and it, I don't know, it just seems unorganic, and it's just not my taste. It's not my thing. I'm more about the physically grounded characters, kind of like how Matt Reeves did the Batman. I mean, regardless, despite it being a 3-hour film, I still enjoyed it. I can see how people can complain about it, but The Flash is nothing like that. It's like watching a video game or an anime. I kept thinking I was watching an anime most of the time. It's like even characters, people, when the Flash is doing the freeze frame scenes and everything around him, you see all these images of people, if it's babies, if it's other characters or just people or family members, they don't even look like people. They look like demonic CGI anime characters. It's like, really? Like everything is going to be so CGI heavy? That alone took me out, and I just kept trying and trying to like get invested back into it. The one thing I can honestly say worked well, most of it was the humor. A lot of the humor worked in the film. Like from a comedy, the comedy aspects worked. Most of them. Of course, some are silly, but most of them worked. But the action is just, it's like watching a video game. Might as well go plug in a video game and watch that, or play that, than watch a film like this, where it's like you're watching, I don't know, people love it nowadays. People thrive off of it. I personally am old-fashioned. I like to see grounded, what do they call it? Like physical, can't think of the term now, but, you know, even with Michael Keaton, he's 71 years old, 71, 72 years old. So I don't care if he's 80 years old. I would love to see him play Batman all the time. But I don't particularly think it's a spoiler, but even with his character and how they utilized him, they didn't utilize him enough as a real person. Like way back in '89 Batman, when he was like a real Bruce Wayne, a real man walking around doing it was like realistic almost. You know, it had its, you know, phony stuff like near CGI in there, but it wasn't as it didn't rely so heavily on it. So you appreciate it more. Here they have him like flopping around, jumping, flipping, doing this, doing that, and it's like this guy, even in the universe that he's in here, he's an older man. Like it's just so unrealistic. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people, a lot of backlash, saying, "Oh, it was awesome. It was the best. It was great. That's great. Teach their own." But for me personally, I'd rather have him complain about how his knees hurt or how he's too old for this or something. I'm looking for like stuff like that, but apparently they didn't really utilize that in this Flash film. They just used him as if he were a video game character, just like if you were watching Thor jumping around in the Marvel films, or I don't know, the Flash himself flying around. It's like, I don't know. I guess those are most of my complaints. I don't like how they utilize a few of the characters, even with what's his name, Michael Shannon's character from Man of Steel, Zod. It's like, that's a great character actor. He does a great job in that role. He's just there. He hardly has anything to do or say. He's just there. He's a prop. They utilize all these things from the past as props. And they focus on, the Flash's story and story of the film. But they could have utilized a lot of things better. Focus more on the writing. Focus more on the story. Don't rely so much on the CGI. Practical effects is where I was trying to think of before. Utilize more practical effects. I really appreciate that, the practical effects. It's almost like the Fast and Furious franchise. They ultimately became a cartoon now. They're like a cartoon. But despite like the last Fast and Furious film, Fast 9, I just could not get into that. It was just too stupid for me. Up in space and cars, come on. What, are we watching a cartoon? But the last one, the director, he focused more on practical effects. And although there's a lot of over-the-top things, like Vin Diesel utilizing a car as if it were like a boomerang or something, like it's like silly, it's cartoonish. I appreciate that director utilized a lot more practical effects. That made the last Fast 10 enjoyable, each character had something to do, and the action was really cool. I love the practical effects, but I'm running off the rails here with the Fast and Furious franchise now. But with the Flash, oh man, I'm going to see it again when it opens June 16th. But because before the film, the director had a little thing come up saying how this is not the final version. This is a different version, alternative version. So who knows? But I am very sure that the CGI and everything they did with Michael Keaton's Batman and Michael Shannon's Zod and everything is going to be probably the same. They probably be just little flickers of changes. Possibly, I don't know. I'm sure it ain't going to be that much of a difference. I'm still going to go see it because I am a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan. He's my favorite Batman. And, I don't know, I just was expecting, like I said, I was expecting more, but at the same time, I kind of had a feeling that the film was going to go down that road with the heavy use of CGI. I'm just not a fan of that. And to go off the rails once more, I see Tim Burton's directing Beetlejuice sequel with Michael Keaton reprising his role as Beetlejuice, which is unbelievable. I can't wait for it. I sure hope he doesn't go down that route with the CGI heavy stuff like an original 1988 Beetlejuice utilized a lot of like stop motion effects, and I actually appreciate that more than the CGI. But nowadays, like even with his latest films, he's been relying heavily on CGI. I just hope they don't go down that route and ruin the Beetlejuice sequel, because anything Michael Keaton, I'm on board. The guy's got the great charisma. His presence is always wanted. Always, I'm always looking forward to him on the screen. But hopefully, huge fans of the DC, love the Flash. I don't know. Even despite the lead actor's problems in his real life with the law and everything that he's done, I'm not even thinking about that or going down that route. I just look at the film as art and what it is on the screen and what the directors and writers, filmmakers, what they made and put on display, and how the performers perform and how good it could be. So I can't really knock him so much, that guy, the lead. But just the story and the overuse of CGI could have been utilized a little better. And then the CGI, like I said, wasn't even that good. Most of the time, it was just so unrealistic looking. That takes me right out of it. Me personally, I'm old-fashioned. Maybe younger crowds or certain fan bases will eat it up. Me, I can't really say I recommend The Flash that much. But it was still awesome to see Michael Keaton on the screen. I just wish they utilized him better. But that's it for now, and hopefully I'll be back soon with another video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and leave comments below. Tell me what you think of The Flash. Tell me what you're looking forward to. You want some spoiler-free questions? Ask away. Here I am. I'll tell you. I'm an open book. Thank you again, and I hope to see you all again soon.